sucker.
Every day for the last 10 years, my brother there has been giving me a large black coffee. Today she gives me a large black coffee, only it's got sugar. A lot of sugar. I just came back to complain. Now you boys put those guns down.
Say what?
Well, we're not just gonna let you walk out of here.
Who's we, sucker?
Smith, Wesson, and me.
Oh, you got it.
Go ahead. Make my day.
There's the catchphrase.
That was Charles Bronson, wasn't it?
Bad news comes in threes.
Hello, and welcome to episode 92 of the Music Relish Show, where we believe in the healing power of music.
Yeah.
And it's Mom Lou, and this is Mark and Perry, and we're here to have a good night.
Here we are.
Music information, trivia, random stuff, and just some musical appearances and just some fun stuff, which we like to do.
That's right.
This is what makes us happy.
We relish that stuff.
Yes, we do.
Sunday night therapy.
Sunday night therapy. So tonight we have our usual assortment of people who have passed in the music industry. We've got some random relish. That's our mixed bag of just stuff, facts, and just neat stuff. We're going to do a little bit of a tribute to the late great Quincy Jones. I think producer extraordinaire and musician extraordinaire, and I think everyone knows who Quincy Jones is. I think. And we got trivia. And we might have a little video appearance by Nanci Griffith.
We've got some great Nanci Griffith, yeah.
The late great, yeah, that's right, yeah. And yeah, we got some just some stuff, little short things and some little funny videos maybe, and just some neat stuff. So
yep,
great. Commence au festival.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we just start off with the passings with Mark the Undertaker Smith.
That's right. I am like my mom. My mom would read the obituaries and cross them out in the phone book. She literally did that.
Were those people she actually called or never called? Or just I'll never think about calling them.
Just cross. Oh, Mr. Appel died.
I like reading the obituaries. It cheers me up.
Actually, in a good newspaper, obituaries are great because they go over a life. It's like a mini biography. I love reading them, you know.
Wow.
Well, it depends on how many words they wanted to pay for, too.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about people of note when they die.
Oh.
You know? Yeah, we didn't have much money, so we just put our dad died.
He was a member of the Rotary Club. He was a beloved ape. He was a gorilla to remember. He was a font of simian kindness.
Yeah.
All right, so Mark, what you guys? One of your, I think, a musician that you like from some bands that you admire has shed the old mortal coil.
Yeah, Pete Sinfield died this week at the age of 80. In fact, it was just 2 days ago. Anyone that was into Prague knew who he was. He was on the first 4 King Crimson albums.
Really?
Core of the Crimson King, Wake of Poseidon, Lizard, and Islands. He never really played an instrument. He was their lighting director, their sound mixer, sometimes a roadie. And he was a lyricist. That's what he's most known for. So he co-wrote every song with lyrics with Robert Fripp. So he wrote In the Court of the Crimson King, 21st Century Schizoid Man. That was all his lyrics.
Okay, so he never appeared on stage.
But was he in the band?
He was an official member of the band, but he didn't appear on stage with them. But he toured with them.
Mm-hmm.
So, he was with them for 4 albums, but the inevitable conflicts with Fripp. Fripp really just took over the band, and he disbanded them. You know, they went through a lot of incarnations. So after he left King Crimson, he hooked up with Emerson, Lake and Palmer. They called him when they were doing their great Brain Salad Surgery album because Lake was having trouble with lyrics. So he started a collaboration with ELP, and he worked on the Carnival 9 Part 3 on that album. He also wrote the lyrics to C'est La Vie with Greg Lake, which I don't know if you ever heard that. I Believe in Father Christmas was a co-write with Pete Sinfield, the great Christmas song. And
That is a great Christmas song.
Yeah. And then his probably biggest collaboration, in my opinion, but maybe not everybody else's, this little ditty. It took him almost a year to write these lyrics.
Who'll make his mark? The captain cried to the devil, drink a toast.
Pirates.
We'll glut the hold with cups of gold. We'll feed the...
Pirates was originally, they were working on music for a pirate film to be directed by Norman Jewison. Didn't work out, so they took all the music they wrote for the movie and turned it into a 13-minute song. I think that's one of his crowning achievements. Other thing of note, he produced
that was Emerson, Lake and Palmer. That was Greg.
Yes, I'm sorry, that was Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Another thing they did, kind of note, was he produced Roxy Music's first album. So he was also a producer.
Cool.
Yeah, he wrote some songs afterwards in the '80s. He wrote a couple songs for Celine Dion, Cher. He wrote "Have You Ever Been in Love" for Leo Sayer. So he kept current through the '80s. You know, he had a good life. I mean, just gave us some of the music that we love.
Well,
Maybe
he was
not
a lyricist. He wrote a lyricist write songs.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
He went from prog to pop.
Yeah, well, made money, right?
Sure, yeah. I mean, more from the Celine Dion than Father Christmas.
Yeah, right.
Was that song called "I Still Believe" or "I Believe in Father Christmas"?
I believe in Father Christmas, but it's very, very sarcastic. You've listened closely to the lyrics, you know. It's everyone thinks it's like some nice, you know,
That's a cynical
Christmas I believe
song?
in. Yeah, very cynical. Yeah.
Okay.
But Pete Sinfield, good career.
And I think a lot of people may not know who he was.
Yeah.
Unless you're a serious
I know,
prog
I didn't.
head. But we don't know who the hell listens to this show, do we?
We do.
We
We
do.
know some
we
people.
don't know
We
them
know some
we
who
don't
some
know
of
them
our
personally.
subscribers are. And
Yeah.
So who is Shel Talmy?
Shel Talmy was
Talmy.
Early '60s, known for his early '60s production work. The early stuff by the Kinks and the Who and the Easy Beats. So you know, You Really Got Me, All Day, All Night, My Generation, all that stuff. The early Can't Explain. Those are all Shel Talmy.
He was a
productions.
producer.
He was a producer. I don't have a lot of background on him, but I just, you know, I saw a thing on the news the other morning. I misread it, and I thought it said that Dave Davies had passed away. So once you start investigating, you're like, okay, no, it was producers, and it was '80s. But yeah, those early Who singles, I mean, that's real power pop. And the Kinks too.
Heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, heavy stuff. I mean, everything from, you know, sophisticated pop, you know, like say Sunny Afternoon by the Kinks. But you also did You Really Got Me, which is, you know, that's garage rock to me.
Yeah. I
Early-
guess
early
the
early
Who and the
punk.
Kinks, probably the two most famous that he worked with, right?
Yeah. And the Easy Beats too. That's all I really heard about him like that. But I just saw that and I figured, you know, those early songs were great.
Well, that's
that
some
early
career
period.
though. You know?
Yeah. I mean, that alone is enough to rest your legend on.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yep.
So Shel Talmy and Peter Sinfield, rest in peace.
Yeah. Cool.
Blessings on your journey.
Yeah.
All right. So we have any random stuff? Any
Yeah, I have a couple of
odds and
random
ends? You got some
things.
stuff, huh?
This is not making fun of people. I just found this to be a point of interest, or like something like this. Prince was 5'2". Look how big that guitar looks to him. You know,
I thought that was a super jumbo model.
but it's as big as him, man. You know,
He could fit inside that guitar.
And there's somebody else who was the same height as Prince. Is I think that guy.
He
What's his
who
name?
shall not
Buck-
be named.
Buck Dharma.
Buck Dharma, a.k.a.
5'2".
Donald Roser of Blue Oyster Cult. He's 5'2". Well, you know, my thing is, if you're 5'2", I wouldn't play a big guitar. Well, they're all big.
I
when
wouldn't
you're
play
5'2".
big Gibson like that. So now here come a couple of more taller people. Paul Simon, 5'3".
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Play basketball.
Yep. And let's see who else is. Roger Daltrey, 5'5".
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. But there's one more that I found interesting. I wouldn't have thought this because you couldn't tell by seeing like Stevie Ray Vaughan, but he was 5'6".
Right. I'm taller than Stevie Ray Vaughan.
And look at Johnny Winters, 5'3".
Wow.
You would think he's 6 feet tall when you know what I mean.
Yeah, I would thought Roger Daltrey was 5'10" to 6 feet. You know, he was the rock god. You know, it's hard
No,
to tell
because
on
you've
stage.
seen him standing next to average height guys like Townsend, whatever. He's like, you know, he's
I thought Townsend was a
a
tall
foot
person.
smaller than them. Yeah.
Then Johnny Entwistle.
Yeah. Oh, and I have another thing too. Ever see this picture of this random picture? Do you know who that is?
If I could see it closer.
That's Billie Eilish.
That's Billie Eilish.
She's got crazy eyes. Looks
Crazy
like Reagan
eyes,
from
Billie
yes.
Eilish.
She looks like little Reagan.
Yeah, from The Exorcist.
But have you ever? Here's another random little thing. Have you
Isn't
ever
she
heard
dead-eyed Billie Eilish?
of Dead Eyes? Have you ever heard of a band called the T-Bones?
Maybe.
They were from like 1963 to 66.
Yes.
T-Bones.
It's the Wrecking Crew.
Yeah, and they are, of course, they are
The Wrecking Crew.
the T-Bones are actually the Wrecking Crew.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. But there was an interesting point that came after that. They did not want to go on the road as the T-Bones because they were making so much money in the studio.
Mhm.
So the record company did what record companies do, and especially back then, they found 4 guys or whoever to be the faces of the T-Bones and go on television or tour, whatever, as the T-Bones. So here's who they chose. They chose, looks like 5 guys to be the T-Bones. And it was the Wrecking Crew. I mean, you know, same thing with the Grassroots and whatever. But here's the guys. Here's the
Beach
guys
Boys.
that were on the touring T-Bones.
Okay. Joe Frank Carollo on bass. Danny Hamilton on guitar. Judd Hamilton on guitar. Brothers, maybe. Gene Pello, or is it Peyo on drums?
Well,
and
look at
Tommy
those
Reynolds.
names. Look at those names.
Hamilton, Joe Frank, and Reynolds.
There you go. There you go. That's who.
Danny Hamilton.
That's who. They were the touring of the T-Bones. They were. That
Okay,
was
right.
them. Yeah. By the way,
Gunhill.
this song was offered to Elvis. He turned it down.
I always thought it was Elvis. When I was a kid,
But
I thought it
I'm
was
sure
Elvis.
he did it. He did it in his Vegas shows, you know, and it was offered to the Grassroots too, and they turned it down.
Wow.
Yeah.
Trivia question. What was the Hamilton, Joe Frank, and Reynolds' other big hit? I think they're a 2-hit wonder.
I don't know. To me, they're a 1-hit wonder. But okay,
Baby,
what is it?
baby, falling in love
Oh.
again.
That was them.
Yeah. Oh,
All right,
baby,
they
can't you
had
see?
2 top 40 hits then.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I always thought it was 4 guys. No, it's Hamilton, Joe Frank,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Reynolds.
I'm like, who's Joe?
I thought it was 4 people, but it's
I'm
not.
I'm like, why is it half first names and half last names? Unless your first
Hamilton,
name's
Joe
Reynolds.
Frank.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hamilton, Joe Frank, and Reynolds.
Joe Frank, yeah.
Joe Franklin.
That was cool.
Yeah. Well, that's all I had for a random. I just thought it was like wasn't making fun of like Buck Tarma's height. It's
No.
just, I find it interesting. Like Prince, the guitar is big as he is. You know.
There's another one you forgot. John Anderson, yes. And if you ever watched in the 80s when they had all their hits with Trevor Rabin, he sang on a box. There was a box on stage. So he was on top of that box to look the same height, which I found funny. And, but a lot of guitar
I
players.
didn't forget. I just didn't. A
lot of guitar players that are short, they play damn good. Angus Young, he's a pretty good soloist.
Yeah, that's another band. Like these guys are. They're. It's like I said, it's not a knocking thing. They're below.
Small
I'm 5'8".
faces.
5'9" is the average height, so I'm an inch below average height. So
The
for
small
guys that'd be
faces.
small faces.
AC/DC.
AC/DC. Yeah. My ex saw James Caan on an airplane, so he was not that big. You think Sonny Corleone's 6'2", 6'3", but no, it's what the camera does.
Yeah. And also how as far as like Michael Corleone compared to him, Al Pacino was not a big dude. That was the problem they had about him playing Michael originally, right?
But Marlon Brando said he's a brooder, like me, so he would be my son.
Cool.
So
Is that why Marlon Brando didn't like Dennis Hopper? Because Dennis Hopper was too up.
I don't know, but he lobbied Coppola for Pacino to get the role.
Really?
Brando goes, he said, I'm a brooder. He goes, and he's a brooder. He goes, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And of course it did.
And he was a Broadway actor too, so
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
That's all I had, dude.
Okay. So why don't we talk about this guy? He passed away a couple weeks ago, I think early November. But we just got back in the swing of the show, so we're going to talk about Quincy Jones, a legendary
Wow.
Producer,
Q.
musician, Q, arranger, conductor. A staggering body of work this guy had. And not just record production, but producing, executive producing. He's across the board. So Quincy Delight Jones Jr. So most people, there he is.
Yep.
And most people know him from Michael Jackson's era. I think he was during the 80s. He was probably the most powerful and most important record producer at that time.
Arms full of Grammys.
Right, but because of the scope of his musicianship and his background, I started with like a lot of film soundtracks because we know a lot of us know the music, and there was some music I didn't even know that he did until you start looking. But some of these film tracks, let me know if you've ever heard these movies. I'm going to give the movie and the director. The Pawnbroker, directed by Sidney Lumet. I've heard of it, never saw it. The Slender Thread is a Sidney Pollack film. Walk, Don't Run. That's guided by Charles Waters. That had Cary Grant in it in his last role. The Deadly Affair, another Sidney Lumet movie. Enter Laughing. It was Carl Reiner's directorial debut. It was a comedy in the early 60s. I have a trivia question here. The star's name was Rennie Santoni. Does that name ring a bell?
Yes, it does.
Nope.
Okay. He's notable for me for one role. He was Ernie the Eskimo in that Odd Couple episode. He was the football player that played the what did he play? The cello. Oh, they need a token Eskimo. Yeah, so he was Ernie.
Was he
in the
Poppy?
Odd Couple.
Was he Poppy?
He was
in the
Poppy
Seinfeld
in
episode?
Seinfeld. Yeah,
That's where I know him from.
Okay,
Poppy, no.
You can picture his face.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rennie Santoni. So he was the star of that movie.
But so Q did the music for these movies.
Yeah, these are all soundtrack
right?
movies. Yeah. He did the soundtrack for In the Heat of the Night. It was directed by Norman Jewison.
Great music.
Yeah, and one of my favorite movies, and the music, the soundtrack is really, really cool. The movie In Cold Blood, based upon the Truman Capote novel.
Yes.
Directed by Richard Brooks, but it's a very jazzy soundtrack. And I think I'm going to buy that movie because I haven't seen it in a while and I can't find it on streaming. But that's a movie that's worth keeping for me. He did the music for The Italian Job by Peter Collinson. Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice, early 70s.
Yeah.
It became a TV series, didn't it?
I don't know.
I think that that was pretty.
That was considered a dirty movie when I was young. I was like, oh,
it was a little risque, sexual revolution. Weren't they like kind of like swingers?
Yeah,
they were swappers. He did The Out of Towners, an Arthur Hiller film, a movie called Honky by William Graham. It was about an interracial romance in a high school. He did the music for The Hot Rock by Peter Yates, The Getaway with Sam Peckinpah, who was the director in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood that was directing DiCaprio's character. It was based on was Sam Peckinpah character. He did the soundtrack for The Wiz, another Sidney Lumet movie. He produced The Color Purple with Steven Spielberg and a few others.
Wow.
And and a movie called Stalingrad. You guys remember hear about that? It was a collaboration between the Soviet Union. It was still communism in East Germany.
I saw it. Yeah.
I
saw it in Russian, dubbed in English.
Okay, Powers Booth was in it. I think he's the only American in it that I saw. But I remember when the movie was around. Let's see, and he did The Color Purple, the musical, and a movie called Lola in 2024. So he was working up until his last year on the planet. Some great soundtracks though. I mean, there's a lot of movies. I think he was nominated twice in one Academy Award season.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And he's also one of three record producers that had #1 albums in 3 consecutive decades, the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. What is that on the screen there, Perry? He's directing something.
It's the Big Band Jazz Session. So that's his early career as an arranger. Do you have anything, Lou? I don't want to step on your toes, but just early on, he did some things of note. He started with touring with Lionel Hampton. Then he was
this is his as a musician.
Yeah. Well, here's what surprised me. I didn't know this. He was the second trumpet in a 21-year-old Elvis Presley's band in his first 6 TV appearances. And he was a trumpeter and musical director with Dizzy Gillespie.
Wait, did you say he was a trumper? You don't know his politics, Mark.
Trumpeter. The smoke from the wildfires is just getting in my brain.
I don't think he made it to the election.
But he worked with Frank Sinatra on those albums with Count Basie. Yeah. He had that's why when you said he had his feet in so much.
Oh yeah, and we'll go over his albums too. In fact, the thing I listened to from that period it's Sinatra at the Sands.
Excellent album.
It's a great setting.
And Q was conducting the orchestra.
Yeah, he's conducting. Q was conducting and arranging. It's Count Basie's band, and the drummer alone is just amazing. But the band was on fire. What musicianship? Just the band alone.
The sound is amazing.
Yeah. It's fantastic. He goes into his kind of Rat Pack shtick there, but hey, that's Sinatra. He was 50 then.
Wow.
Yeah, but Quincy Jones is writing. He's writing the sheet music. He's I mean, this is
he's conducting all those.
Right.
In fact, the list of musicians on the Sinatra at Sands soundtrack. There's like 7 trumpeters. I mean, the band is huge.
Yeah.
So that eliminates one of my trivia questions because one of my questions was, what instrument did Quincy Jones play?
A trumpet.
He played the trumpet, but it's funny. He had to stop playing the trumpet. He had some serious health issues in the early 70s, an aneurysm.
Yeah.
He had to place something in a clip in his brain, and the doctor said you cannot play the trumpet again because to blow it like that could dislodge the clip. Oof. So he went on tour. He was playing something, or maybe in Japan or something, and he had these pains in his head. And he goes, he stopped playing the trumpet though, which is interesting. I mean, that kind of sucks. It's like saying, Lou, you can't play the drums, or Mark and Perry, guitar is no longer an option. I mean,
but
you never know; things can happen anytime. But
a trumpeter who can read music, can write music, can transcribe it.
Yeah, and he can tell when everyone's off or when someone's off.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the drumming on that because it was just incredible. I'm thinking, is this drummer reading music while he's, you can't turn a page when you're playing drums for the most part.
Right.
So maybe there's a reader, who knows, but yeah. So besides film work, I mean, that was a pretty impressive body of soundtrack work, including a lot of Oscar nominations. I don't believe he won a posthumous or like an achievement Oscar, but he never got one for any of the soundtracks that he did. Although maybe he should have. He did some TV themes as well. Right? He did.
Well, I remember. Sorry. I remember as a kid seeing the Sanford and Son.
Yeah.
And seeing Quincy Jones. I had no idea who he was when I was 12 or 13 years. You know what I mean? I had no idea who Quincy Jones was. Yeah.
Nope.
But it was a cool theme, though.
It's funky. Yeah. So TV themes besides Sanford and Son, Ironside. He did the old Raymond Burr TV series.
I don't remember that one because
I don't remember the music.
It's intense. It's an intense theme.
Yeah, probably. I mean, and he did the music for the Bill Cosby Show.
Yep. Oh, that was him, huh?
Yeah. Funky, man.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Oh, the Bill Cosby Show. I remember that one. Yeah. Not the Cosby Show from the 80s. The Bill Cosby Show from the 70s.
No, that was probably Bill Post.
Is that the one that goes, going to get some raggets and
Post.
Some rolls and
some greasy mamas?
Yeah, Q wrote that, huh?
Every day, as long as I'm away. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
all right,
great.
Q.
Now, you can see the correlation between that and the Sanford and Son theme.
Yeah, yep.
It's kind of
funky,
earthy,
man.
very
Funky,
urban.
Yeah.
He was also, he did the musical director for the 43rd Academy Award show. He did the music for the new Bill Cosby Show, which I don't remember that one. I just remember.
Well, they might have meant the one in the 80s, right? Maybe that was what they meant.
No, that was that wasn't called the new Bill Cosby. No, I think I saw the dates on it.
No, that one in the 80s where he was the doctor. That was just called the Cosby Show.
The Cosby
Show.
Oh,
okay, yeah.
That was probably Mike Post. Didn't he do everything in the 80s? Yeah, Hill Street Blues, and did he do Cop Rock?
Where was
greatest
Q
TV
from?
series of all time.
Where was Q born? Where's he from?
Chicago.
He's from Chi-Town, huh?
I think. I think his background. There was some background. I don't think he was a poor kid.
No, his father was a semi-professional musician. His mother was
a bank executive.
Yeah, bank executive.
She was a bank officer. She wasn't an executive.
Yeah.
But he's from Chicago. He did the music soundtrack for the old, remember the TV movie Roots in the 70s, the Alex Haley novel?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
That was a big deal. That was one of like an early mini series. Yeah.
Yeah. That launched LeVar Burton's career.
Oh yeah.
Yep. He was Kunta Kinte, wasn't he?
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah. He was Kunta Kinte. Yeah. That's
young
how I
Kunta
first saw
Kinte.
him too. Yeah.
So Quincy Jones also did the music for The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought that was not the theme song, though.
I never saw the show.
No.
Yeah.
He wasn't. He did like a lot of episodes. He may not have been on the whole run of the series, but he did
Yeah.
a whole lot.
Okay.
He was the executive producer, not just music, but the executive producer of the 68th Academy Awards. He did music for In the House, and Mad TV. He was the executive producer on Mad
Yeah,
TV.
he had a production company and all that.
Yep. I mean, like I said, pretty staggering body of work. So
sorry.
Go ahead, man. There he is with Michael Jackson. Yeah,
that's what many people
we'll
know
get
him
to that.
for.
We're going to finish up with that, of course, because that
Okay.
was how most of us know his work with Michael Jackson. But like Mark was saying, in his early career, he was a musician. He was a trumpeter. From the 55 on, I don't know. I never heard the names of his albums, but it's all jazz. He's been credited one of the 100th most influential jazz musicians of the 20th century. But we're going to go to things that we might know here. I like Quincy plays for Pussycats. Quincy's got a brand new bag. And, some of the things that I did go to Wikipedia and things like that, but there are things that I didn't mention on there. I was looking for his album production credit, and some things were not listed as albums, but we'll touch upon the singles. Man, as a sideman, Lionel Hampton, like you said, Mark, Dizzy Gillespie, Billy Eckstine, Joe Jones. Joe Jones, one of the greatest drummers of all time. The Isley Brothers.
Yeah.
A sideman with the Isley Brothers, Dinah Washington. Okay, so here we go. He worked with as a producer, conductor, arranger, Cannibal Adderley, Herb Alpert, Louis Armstrong, Patty Austin, the Count Basie Orchestra, and about 4 albums. Count Basie Orchestra with Billy Eckstine. Was he a piano player? Do you know, Mark?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Tony Bennett, George Benson, Give Me the Night, the 1980 album, Give Me the Night.
Mm-hmm.
So give me the night. Let's see. The Brothers Johnson, 4 albums by the Brothers Johnson. Let's see. Diane Carroll, I mentioned that again. Ray Charles, like 4 albums. Sammy Davis Jr. and the Count Basie Orchestra. A whole bunch of albums with Billy Eckstine. Ella Fitzgerald with Count Basie. Aretha Franklin. I mean, this is incredible.
Yeah.
And Leslie Gore. He produced Leslie Gore's early hits.
Yep.
It's My Party.
Yep.
That is a Quincy Jones production early.
All 4 of her big hits, right?
Yeah. Yep. James Ingram. 100 Ways. Oh, 100 Ways. Could have been Michael McDonald. Gene Krupa, Little Richard, 1962. Every guys hear Nana Muscori, Greek singer?
No.
Yeah, I think she's a jazz singer. Rufus with Frank Chaka Khan, Frank Sinatra with Count Basie. So the 3 albums that might as well be swing. Sinatra at the Sands, which you just discussed, and Sinatra's last studio album from '84, "L.A. Is My Lady." When he was singing "Got You Under My House."
So he worked with Frank after he worked with Michael.
So in his career, his career started in the
Or
40s?
at the same time. What's that?
Yeah.
His career started in the 40s?
I think it seems like in the 50s was
In
his
the
big
50s. So, I mean,
as a musician.
Technically, he toured with Lionel Hampton in the 40s, I think. But that's like when he was just starting out.
He had a 70-year career in the business. So the list of people you're saying that he worked with, this guy kicked butt in the business, right?
Yeah, no, yeah. I don't think he ever had a record company, but as a producer, it's kind of funny because I don't know. I like jazz, but I'm not a jazz aficionado, so I don't know how he's regarded as far as jazz trumpeters go.
Interesting you say that, because when I worked at CPI, the cassette producer, and I worked with Stan, who was a jazz aficionado, and we were doing a thing of old Quincy Jones, and I said, he played jazz? And that's this guy Stan told me. He says, throw Michael Jackson out of the window right now, because he will always be known to real music fans, jazz aficionados, for what he did in jazz.
Okay.
But he also had a foot in incredible pop, where he got, he just produced incredible pop albums. So as we see, what you're listing off, majority of his stuff was jazz.
Well, did Q ever release a single?
Yes,
on
he
his
did.
own as just a Quincy Jones record.
Good
Oh,
timing,
yeah.
Perry. I was just getting that. In 1962, he put a song called Soul Bossa Nova, which was the theme. They used that in the first Austin Powers movie. It was the theme song to the first.
Wow.
So that's interesting. I didn't know that until today. So that's how influential he is. Yeah, he had a single. I mean, they're not big charters, in the U.S. or the U.S. R&B charts.
Mm-hmm.
He had a song in 1970 called Killer Joe. Money Runner, Is That Love We're Missing? But now there's a Roots medley. Let's see, 100 Ways, the James Ingram song. That's a Quincy Jones song, I guess. Do you know the song talking about? I live you now all 100 ways. If you heard it, you know it. It was
Sounds yacht rockish to me. That's why.
it was more like 80. Yeah, the way I'm singing it. It's that slick 80s R&B, but it's not 80s.
Yeah.
Slick,
I know. I've heard a couple of James Ingram songs. And
Michael Jackson could have recorded.
Yeah.
I sang James Ingram part when we did We Are the World at the Spiritual Center.
Nice.
Anyway, that was a number 14. He did a song called Just Once with James Ingram. It was number 17. These are Quincy Jones. I'll Be Good to You. I think that's the Brothers Johnson song, but this was with Ray Charles and Chaka Khan. That was a hit. The Secret Garden, Sweet Seduction Suite, number 31. And nothing else that was of his own that.
Well, you know what? In 1971, he put out an album called Smackwater Jack.
Yeah.
And this song was on it.
But
Perry, you know what that is?
Yeah, I've heard that before. Yeah.
That's Ironside.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty
I never
weird.
watched
That's
the
a pretty
show, but yeah.
kind of eerie.
Sounds 70s, yeah.
As we all know, too, Quentin Tarantino used it in Kill Bill.
Kill Bill.
Kill Bill.
All right, so Smackwater Jack, wasn't that also a Carole King song or album?
She had a song called Smackwater
Smackwater
Jack.
Jack.
Yeah, it was one of those kind of songs where, like, Big Jim by Jim Croce, it's one of those people talking, you know what I mean? Smackwater Jack, and Big Jim.
She does
and,
kind of like in the Righteous Brothers when, what's that one song they do? You're my soul and my heart and spirit. And the guy goes, you're my reason for living and my reason for dying. I heard that today. It's like, I would have cut that out.
yeah.
Talk about an earworm.
Yeah, really.
But that album, Smackwater Jack, also had the theme from The Bill Cosby Show on it. It's called Hickey Burr. Yeah.
Ooh.
Interesting title.
Yeah.
So, those singles too. These are. He also, Wikipedia is unreliable too. Like Perry and I were talking about this, like you don't know what the facts are. I've come across some inconsistencies.
Absolutely.
Because they're not mentioning albums, but he produced the single by Billy Preston, "Out of Space." It's an instrumental. It almost sounds like the Rockford Files theme.
Yeah.
But he produced that. But I couldn't find it. Didn't list it as a production credit.
That was a radio hit for Billy Preston. Yeah.
Yeah. But it didn't. Again, in my album search of things he produced, it didn't mention an album unless it was just a single he produced. But these are his most notable singles are right here, and there's a lot. Leslie Gore's "She's a Fool" was a number 5. Michael Jackson's "Thriller," obviously. These are out of your sequence. I looked up a top 20 thing. Number 4, Michael Jackson, 1984. The Brothers Johnson, "Strawberry Letter," 23. Great song.
Yeah.
He produced 4 albums by them, so that was a number 5 in 77. Michael Jackson, "Want to Be Starting Something," from 83. Which was from
Off the
Wall.
Off the Wall, yeah.
Yep. Leslie Gore, "You Don't Own Me," from 64 is a number 2.
You don't own me.
Yeah. George Benson's "Give Me the Night." We talked about that before. That was a number 4 in 1980. Michael Jackson, "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough." That was in
First album.
83.
Off the Wall.
Off the Wall. I saw an interview with the drummer, J.R. Robinson, I think his name is. And he said, Quincy Jones goes, before that track, he goes, "I need you to give me a drum fill that the world will remember." He was a session guy. He was hungry. That was a lot of pressure. It's a weird, it does it on the snare drum. It's a weird thing. You wouldn't think it's very impressive, but it works on the song. But the guy's a great drummer anyway.
Yeah.
Let's see. "Dirty Diana" by Michael Jackson, number 1 in 1988. "Bad" was the number 1. That was a follow-up album to Thriller, or the album after Thriller, in 87. The Brothers Johnson, "I'll Be Good to You," as a number 3 in 1976. I'll be good to you. Michael Jackson with, I think I'm saying it wrong, Sadea or Seada Garrett. I just can't stop loving you. I never heard that song.
Wasn't
But
that a Michael
biggie.
Jackson song too? I just can't stop.
I don't know. I thought it was. I think it was credited with Michael Jackson with who the other singer is.
Okay, yeah.
Leslie Gore, "It's My Party." That was the number one. So
That was,
Michael
a
Jackson,
Quincy Jones production, huh?
well, these are all Quincy Jones productions.
Yep.
Michael Jackson, "The Way You Make Me Feel," number 88. That was off bad, I guess.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney. So Quincy Jones, he produced "The
that
Girl Is
stuff.
Mine."
Mm,
It was a number two. Number two.
The Doggone Girl is mine.
Well, Paul did that because he was going to pitch Michael to get his control of his songs back. And
so was "The Girl Is Mine"? That was on a Michael Jackson record.
No, yes,
idea.
that was on Thriller.
Okay.
Yeah.
So George Martin
Go
produced "Ebony and Ivory," though, right?
I'm probably because that was
you
Pipes
really
of,
think so?
I
think
it's
it's a Quincy production.
I don't think it's
Tug of War.
I think it's off a Paul McCartney, George Martin produced record, like the Pipes of Peace or something. The Peeps of Pice.
Or Tug of War, I think. And I think that was, It's amazing that George Martin produced all those schlocky sounding '80s albums for Paul McCartney. You know?
I know.
What he didn't do that much work with Paul in the.
I can give my regards to Broad Street. I think that might have been George.
Well, that was
Martin.
a foolhardy. Yeah.
Whenever Paul's made a movie, it's not done well. Magical Mystery Tour. Give my regards to Broad Street.
Give my regards to Broad Street.
Flops.
Yeah, but at least
Flopsy mopsy.
George Harrison had the sense to produce the movies, not to be in the movies, just produce the movies.
Yeah.
And let
By the way,
the funny people be funny.
By the way, we made a horrible error. It wasn't Ebony and Ivory. He sang that with Stevie Wonder.
That was Stevie Wonder. Yeah.
Say was the song he did with Michael Jackson.
That's right. So what album is that on? I think all three songs suck.
And George Martin, all these schlocky albums in the '80s.
Really.
All these schlocky albums are produced by George Martin. Say. It was on the Pipes of Peace album. George Martin produced that too. Yeah.
Was it on the Peeps of Pice?
Beat the Beatles.
Yes.
So how old was Q when he died?
He was like 91, 92 or something.
Cool. All right. Yeah.
Good life. We got a couple more singles here, though. Let's see. Michael Jackson, "Man in the Mirror," number 1, 1988.
I like that song.
How about this one? "Baby, Come to Me." Patty Austin with James Ingram, number 1,
Wow.
83. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's got that 80s soul pop sound. It's real slick, though. It's got a lot of sheen.
Real clean. Yeah.
Very clean, exactly, yeah. I guess it worked. That wasn't my sound in the 80s, though.
Yeah.
Catchy enough songs, but I didn't like that sound, But not to deny the music behind it, but
My head was in Van Halen and
yeah, we're
Priest,
not. I was alt rock all the way at that point. So Michael Jackson's "Rock with You." That was the song that had the drum intro that the guy said.
I wanna rock with you all night. Yeah.
And the video. Every time I saw the video, I thought of the Who because he had those lasers like the Who used in that movie. Roger Daltrey with the lasers coming around him. Same exact lasers, the very lights. Yeah.
And the flute solo in there was something Michael Jackson thought was insane. He was trying to talk Q out of it. Quincy said, it's going to work. And it worked. Yeah. It really did work. Can you hear it in your head?
It'll get you from the pop charts to the R&B charts.
I think it's just the fact that, if you look at just a song, it didn't matter. Maybe Quincy wasn't saying, for R&B chart success, we add this, but I think he just heard that song. Okay, Perry, he's
a jazz guy too.
Well, some of the stuff I listened to, there's other flute and stuff that he did. Yeah. When you brought the song "Refried" down to me, I heard a French horn on it.
Yeah,
it's just that's the reference. Also, Michael Jackson beat it number 1 in 1983, and he also conducted and produced the USA for Africa. We Are the World.
Yeah, he's like you said, he's a director. You got to keep all these people in line, man. he is the guy in charge.
Yeah.
You know,
I
he's the
believe
boss.
at the sessions, he's the one that said, "If anyone gets out of line, I'm going to have Ray Charles drive you home," or something like that.
We Are the World was also check your ego at the door, but
Yeah.
And-
Except Cyndi Lauper didn't get the message. Yeah.
no, and Bob Dylan had to really seriously subsume his sense of ego and pride to have him talk to him like that. Sing like Bob Dylan.
Why are you talking to me like
This
that?
choice we're making, saving our lives.
Yeah. Become a parody of yourself for just about 30 seconds. But yeah. Now, Beat It, though, was number 1 for 7 weeks.
Yeah.
That was a huge song, of course, with the off-the-cuff
whole
Eddie
world.
Van Halen
Yeah, yep.
guitar solo. I mean, so that in a nutshell and was cute. Now, I remember Tupac Shakur. Shakur. Tupac.
3-pack.
He gave Quincy Jones some grief for marrying white women. But now Quincy's background was he traced back to a relative of George Washington, but his grandfather was Welsh.
Okay.
He was a Welsh and he was a slave owner. Had his great grandfather was a Welsh slave owner. So if you look at everyone's DNA, you'd be surprised.
Wasn't he married to the one
Unless
lady
you're Mark
from the Mod
Smith.
Squad, Peggy Lipton or something?
Yeah, he was married to Peggy
Right.
Lipton. Yep. The Mod Squad. Remember that show?
Well, what a career,
Yeah.
man! What a career that guy had.
Yeah.
In a weird
wow.
way, in my head, with my feet in jazz, I put a correlation between him and Miles Davis. Growing up, encouraged to study. They had fathers that were very strict with them, and they both kind of led. They kind of led a similar. Whereas Quincy went into producing, but they both kind of flourished around the same time. By the way, I'm wrong. It was 1953 that Quincy first went out on the road, so he was the 50s. is when
With
his career
Lionel
started.
Hampton.
Yeah, so I've always kind of like thought of them in the same. Once I found out he was a jazz guy, and then I went back and I checked out what he did. I'm like, they kind of worked with some of the same people, and it was that they're two legends that came out of that. There's a lot of legends. Count Basie is, but Quincy just was another level. Smart guy going into
Isn't
production.
it interesting how like last week we had Pat Metheny. We listened to Pat Metheny.
Yeah.
That's a different kind of jazz.
Yes, it is.
Than the stuff Q was doing with Lionel Hampton and whoever else he worked with, Herbie Hancock or whoever,
jazz
right?
was it with the extension, big band era.
Yeah.
And,
Not really bebop.
Yeah.
Miles was more bebop, but it's
Apparently, that drummer on Sinatra with the Sands, Irv Cutler, maybe, or not Roy Haynes. That's a drummer a very famous jazz drummer who passed away this week too, Roy Haynes. They said that was a drummer that they said Sinatra used him all the time at all those live shows, and this guy was incredible. Now, Mark, you said you have your feet in jazz, so that means unlike jazz hands, you have jazz feet. And if so, can I
really
see them?
hairy.
I want to see them.
Well, Q had a 70-year career, man. Right?
Oh, he's not wearing shit.
He had a 70-year career.
Yeah. So, and he had 7 children. So he was prolific.
I've seen pictures of his whole family with Rashida Jones and
I think Rashida Jones, she's an actor.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was Quincy Jones. We could have gone on further. I mean, his jazz era, that's not something I'm super familiar with, but even some of those Michael Jackson songs, I played a few of them at my Sunday spiritual gig. Even though it's a big production, it's interesting compositions, whether you like the music or not. But the fact that a guy like that can put it all together, and you got to have a lot of vision. He got the Michael Jackson production gig where when he worked on The Wiz, Michael Jackson asked him to recommend producers that would work with Michael Jackson. So after thinking about it, Quincy Jones said, "I'll do it." They did 3 albums together, right?
And that's how it came to be, huh?
Yeah.
Hey,
Cool.
You said Rashida Jones is his daughter?
I believe so.
Wow. She was the only one to be on both The Office and Parks and Rec, the 2 similar shows. She's a great actress.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
So you have any? Go ahead, Lou.
I got some trivia questions.
I was just going to ask that if you had any trivia pertaining to Q. Yeah.
I do. Now, this one's a no-brainer, so because we discussed this. What instrument did Quincy Jones play? Was it the kazoo? Was it the accordion, or was it the trumpet?
It was a banjo.
Trick question. It's a Pez dispenser.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the original title of the Sanford and Son theme?
I have no idea.
There's a multiple choice.
Oh, wait. The original, it was called Mumford and Son. No, it was called Boxco and Son, or
No, it
what
wasn't.
was it called?
All right, so the original title of the Sanford and Son theme, as written by Quincy Jones, was it A, "You Old Heathen"? Was it B, "The Street Beater"? Or was it C, "You Old Fish-Eyed Fool"?
There was peanut butter. It was the middle one. It was the middle one.
It was the middle one. The middle one.
The Street Beater.
Yeah.
Now, Perry made a not so oblique reference to the movie Shakes the Clown, where, who's the actress that played Aunt Esther?
I don't know her name, but
She
was
plays,
good. She was good.
her and Ozzie Davis play out of work clowns at a bar, and she's got some pretty raunchy dialogue that's hysterical. Okay, well, that was a giveaway.
Yeah.
All right, here's another Quincy Jones question, another Q question.
Mm-hmm.
Quincy Jones was a music producer for an Academy Award show in the early 1970s. So this is from 1970 to 1975. What was the year? Was it A, 1974, B, 1971, or C, 1970?
I'm going to guess the mid-70s.
So you're saying
I'm going
74?
with 1971. I'm going with 71.
Mark says 71, Perry says 74. Mark Smith, you are correct.
Wow.
All right, bonus question.
Wow, I'm right.
So this was 1971, so the movies are all from 1970. What won Best Picture in the year 1970?
What are the options?
No options. Either
Last Picture Show.
1970, big pictures of 1970.
Butch Cassidy.
No, that
It
was
was-
69, wasn't it?
That was 69, yeah.
Oh, boy.
But then it would be up for an Oscar in 70, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, but that would have been 1970s Oscars. So this was
I'm going to say
1970.
I'm going to say the
It was a war
Peter
picture.
Bogdanovich, the Last Picture Show, or whatever.
It was a war picture.
Oh,
Giving you hints.
The Dirty Dozen.
Patton.
Oh,
That was 70? I thought it was earlier.
Oh,
than
George
that.
C.
Wow.
Scott. Yeah, that's right. He won an Oscar for that,
And he refused it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, so another Q question. Quincy Jones was the executive producer he was executive producer, not the music, the executive producer of the whole show, of an Academy Award show in the later 1990s. So it's 95 to the year 2000. So was it the year A, 1999, B, 1991, or C, 1996?
I'm going to say 96.
Me too.
You both are correct. And it was the 68th Academy Awards. What won Best Picture in the year 1996 from 1995? It was an action historical epic. It was a
Dances with Wolves.
It's in that same vein, but it's not that. The star of this movie might have produced it, and he came under a lot of controversy for certain personal views.
Who was the star of the movie?
Oh, Mel Gibson.
Yes.
The
movie?
the Scotsman.
Yep. Begins with a B.
He mooned the British
Captain
crown.
Captain something Hart.
William Wallace.
Braveheart.
Braveheart.
It was Braveheart.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Yep. So those are my Quincy Jones trivia questions.
Interesting.
Cool.
Yeah.
I have a trivia question. You want me to give it to you?
Is this related to Quincy Jones, or is this something
No,
else?
this is just regular trivia. Yeah.
Well, go for it.
Okay, here's one right here. Which English musician arranged and played piano on the Cat Stevens song
I know it.
"Morning Has Broken" in 1971?
I think I know it. Rick Wakeman.
Nicky Hopkins.
That's a good guess, man.
That is. Yeah.
But I'm
Let's
wrong.
see who it is. I don't know.
Yep. That's Rick Wakeman all the way.
Rick Wakeman.
Wow.
Ricky Wakeman, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Uh-oh, the record
Nice.
was skipping.
Smack the turntable.
Here's one.
I didn't know that.
Who recorded the original version of "We're Having a Party"?
Southside Johnny and the Asbury Jukes. So it wasn't Sam Cooke, huh? That's the only
Who
one I
recorded the original version of "We're Having a Party"?
I
That
would
is
say
Abraham Lincoln.
Sam Cooke.
Mark.
Sam Cookie.
Abraham Lincoln. I don't
Mark, come on.
It was
man.
Ryan Beacon.
We're having a party,
And he
I
wrote
didn't know
it,
that.
too.
dancing
wrote
to
it.
the music.
Did not know that.
And you know who the musicians were?
Earl Palmer on drums. No. Wait. Sam Cooke. Hal Blaine. No.
Lou Rawls backing vocals, Tommy Tedesco on guitar.
Wow.
Ray Pullman on bass. He's a Wrecking Crew, right? Frank Capp, Wrecking Crew. Yeah. It was the Crew. Yeah.
And Frank Capp. I think he was Sonny Bono's favorite drummer. Frank Capp.
And
he was on Pet Sounds and
that's right.
He's Andy Capp's brother too.
Now Lou Rawls was the other duet singer on If You Ever Bring It On Home. So it's really it's a duet. It's a duet with Lou Rawls and Sam Cooke. And cool. I don't believe I don't believe his murder was a conspiracy.
I have no idea.
I saw some documentaries where like, nah, Muhammad Ali was more dangerous than
any
Sam
performer
Cooke.
Who dies that's well known. There's always a conspiracy, right?
Well, if you read the whole story, it's like I think it explains
I'll
itself.
look it up.
That's just my thoughts,
All right. Well, here's a trivia question. Lou,
want me to read it? Oh, what is musician Spooner Oldham's first name? He's a keyboard player. Spooner Oldham. Well, what are his big things? He's played with a lot of people.
Neil Young.
Neil Young, that's right. Yeah. So Spooner Oldham's first name, was it A, Dewey, B, Clyde, or C, Henry?
I remember talking about him in the past, and I think it's the D one. I think it starts with a D.
Dewey,
yeah.
Like
I'm
Dewey
going
Decimal.
with Henry. I'm going with Henry.
Perry Dedovich is correct. It is Dewey.
There you go.
Dewey Oldham.
Well, we've spoken about him.
Dewey Oldham? I don't know.
Yeah. We did a thing about him, in fact. And all right, here's one. Here's another one.
Woke me out in the morning, Dewey.
Lou.
Okay. Who wrote the song "This Masquerade"? Okay. Was it A, Willie Nelson, B, Leon Russell, or C, Quincy Jones?
C.
I know the answer to it because we've talked about this song in the past. Actually, it's Leon Russell.
Have we really?
It is Leon Russell?
Yeah.
Holy
Russell,
shit.
Right?
Yeah. I don't remember. I remember us talking about Leon. I don't remember mentioning "This Masquerade" though. Well, he died.
That
recently,
has
didn't he?
come up a few times in the past. Yeah.
Has it?
Yep.
His version
Mentioned
must
by
have
you, by
sounded.
the way, too.
What's that?
Mentioned
By
by you
me?
mostly. Yep.
I don't think so.
His version must have sounded very different, though, right?
It was the B-side, "The Tightrope," I think.
Wow. Here's
But the Carpenters recorded a version of it too.
really.
Yeah.
How about this one?
Small. I'll read off my notes. On Jackson Browne's debut album, the legendary drummer Jim Gordon, who passed away last year in prison, played on the song "Under the Fallen Sky," but he did not play the drums. What instrument did he play? Was it A, trumpet, B, organ, or C, cardboard box?
I'm trying to remember the song.
I'm going to
go with organ.
I'm
I'm
going
just gonna
to
say
say
organ.
cardboard box.
Mark is correct. It was organ.
played-
The song starts off on organ. It's pretty
He's a
good playing.
He's a keyboard player too.
Yeah.
Layla. Remember Layla?
Yeah.
He was
Oh, he
playing
wrote.
that.
He wrote that coda, didn't he?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
on
Someone else
paper,
did.
on paper, he did.
On paper, yeah. Well, that's my trivia questions.
Well,
I got
thought-
an off-the-cuff trivia question.
What have you got?
Didn't
What
give
you
it
got?
to you beforehand. Well, we mentioned Mike Post. I
Yeah.
think Lou's going to get this one. What was the one rock and roll album that Mike Post produced?
Are you going to give me a hint? Like
I think Lou's going to know it.
It was a Megadeth album.
probably a Devo.
right, I'm-
oh, no,
Wait, no,
probably a
no.
Toto album or something.
We have mentioned this before too. We have mentioned.
Yeah.
Give me a genre. Give me a hint. Throw some hints. Throw a
Hard
couple
rock.
lifelines.
Hard rock. Yeah.
Was it Whitesnake?
No. When I said you would know it,
I
it's a
think we
band
mentioned
that
this
you
before.
do like, hard rock band. And it's probably considered by some to be their worst album.
It's not Blue Oyster Cult.
Are they
No,
American?
and it was,
Are they British?
American band, and it was their only album with this lead singer. I'm really narrowing it down.
Really?
They had, all right, here's
You know,
we'll get it.
I
Lou
like
will get,
it.
you'll both will get. Their first two lead singers were pretty legendary in the band, very different.
Rainbow.
A book just came out about the brothers. There, I gave
Van
it away.
Halen?
Yeah, he produced Van Halen 3.
Oh,
Wait.
The much maligned album.
Yeah,
The
the one
one
with Gary Sharon.
with Gary Sharon.
Yeah, so Eddie was so screwed up that he needed a producer. So he's friends with Mike Post, and he asked him to produce it. You
Mike
know,
Post.
Mike,
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting. You know, I don't know
Well,
what
he did-
it looked like in the studio. He's a guy that's film scores and stuff, you know.
Well, he deserved to have that flop.
Well,
Mike
here's a
Hurst.
trivia question. This American band had 7 gold studio albums, with 3 of those albums reaching multi-platinum status, but never had a number 1 single. Their highest 2 charting singles were number 6 and number 11. Can you name the band and the 2 singles? And I think it was pretty much in the 1970s. They're American, and they are from the
Michigan.
middle of the country.
Grand Funk Railroad. Let's see. The Captain and American Band. Or the, I'm
Okay,
your
you're
Captain.
saying GFR,
Yes.
and you said that's a great song. I'm your captain.
I'm your captain,
and American
and
band.
we're an
well,
American band.
I see. I thought we're an American band hit number 1, but maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe it
I don't
did.
know.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
Cheap Trick.
Okay, Mark.
Cheap Trick. I'm going to go Cheap Trick. Surrender.
American
and
band,
the
7 gold
And
studio
the Flame.
albums,
And the
3
no, the Flame.
multi-platinum.
I will burn the flame.
Never had a
I'm going
number
with
1 single, but they had 2 number 6 and an 11 in the
I'm saying Cheap.
1970s.
Cheap Trick.
Marky.
Oh, every band I'm thinking of, they didn't have 7 albums. That's what I'm thinking.
I
All
have
right.
another one. I got
They are-
another one. REO Speedwagon.
They are from the middle of the country.
Like
Okay.
Nebraska? Kansas. Illinois.
I'm going to go with Chicago. And 25 or 6-4
Yeah,
and Color My World. I'm throwing
Whoa.
that in the ring.
good guesses. Lou, what did you say? Cheap Trick?
Well, I said Grand Funk. I think I'm gonna go with Cheap Trick.
Okay.
God damn it. One of my favorite bands.
Wow.
I thought Mark would have gotten it, personally.
Little Marky the Undertaker Smith.
Those are the two. They're two big hits.
What's a Will Ferrell movie this was in? Was that was that old
Oh,
school?
the Will Ferrell movie.
Look at the
yeah.
record label, Don Kirshner Records, right?
So,
Yeah, really.
so I'm a very smart prog fan when I say that. I would never think that a prog band would have 7 gold albums. It's just like,
So when you're on Don Kirshner Records, did you have to go on Midnight Special and not get paid?
yeah. No, they had to drive. They had to. Well, they started.
They had to clean up afterwards.
Okay, I've got one more. I
was
think
a
I
good
have
one,
one
Harry.
more trivia
That was
question.
good.
It is this one. With the hint, this Midwestern American band had only 1 top 40 hit in their over 50-year career. Can you name the band and their biggest hit? Hint, the band is from the so-called Rust Belt part of the USA. 50 years. They've been together over 50 years, since like 1973, I think. And they're from the Rust Belt.
Over 50 year.
And they are American.
Devo. Whip It.
Okay, you say their biggest hit is Whip It, and it's Devo? Mark?
Yeah. Is Ohio the Rust Belt?
All right, now I'm going to go with REO Speedwagon and
I
what
wouldn't
was
go
that
with. I wouldn't
ballad?
go with that one. they had a huge album with it.
Here-
That's
Yeah, but they had
That's
one. They named the 50.
only- that's
one
the
top
only hit on
40
that
hit.
record?
Here's the answer.
Hey, Lou, you got it.
Yeah, they're from Akron, Ohio. The Rust Belt.
They were too weird to have any more hits.
And written by the two guys, right? Mothersbaugh and Gazelle.
Yeah.
Good old
Oh,
days
that was
when
John
anyone
Cazale,
could
right?
have a hit.
No.
Fredo wrote that Whip It.
John Cavazzo played Jesus.
I can
You got that one because when I said Rust Belt, Lou, you knew that the Rust Belt is like that Ohio.
Yeah, well,
to,
yeah. And
you
I was
know,
thinking 50 years. I said they've been around a long fucking time, and then
since
I'm like,
73. Yeah.
like even like Freedom of Choice wasn't a hit, or their version of
Right.
Satisfaction.
That was their only top 40 hit. Yeah.
Didn't Mark Mothersbaugh do the movie for that Chris Elliott TV show Get a Life?
I don't know.
He did a lot of movie stuff.
I do not know.
I want
But that
Chris
was it.
Elliott to play.
That was a lot of fun trivia, wasn't it?
I want
that was
Chris
good.
Elliott to play me in my own biopic.
And just like there's something about Susan, will she be like developing sores on his face throughout the movie? There's something about Mary. Remember that? Every time he's got more sores.
Well, all I know
Oh,
is he was
God.
on a show, and his character was called Roland, and Roland Shit. That was his character.
Rolling
It
shit.
was called Schitt's Creek. The show.
Yeah, yeah.
Correct
And
me
he-
if I'm
he
wrong,
was
but
Roland Shit.
I believe I read that. Was it the Mothersburgs that went to Kent State when Joe
Yeah.
Walsh was there?
Yeah,
and
yeah. Yep,
So
yep.
they have this. It floored me that there's this band I consider totally 80s, and they had, they were in that same scene. Like I know they went
were in
back
college
to
in the early
73.
70s. Well, they were on SNL. What it was like late 70s, or no? It was their first SNL appearance when they came out of the bag.
Wow.
It might have been 77. Did you guys? I saw that. I saw it when live when when it aired live. I was like,
What?
this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is different.
First time I saw B-52s, they were on Saturday Night Live, and they did that song "Throw the Beat in the Trash" or something. That song, and I was like, these guys are so different. I
Great
like
version
it,
of Satisfaction that they did. Really different, right?
can get
Really
me
creative.
Yeah. Very odd beat stuff, and
Ask Keith Richards what he thinks of it.
it's rubbish.
American rubbish.
Bollocks that American Midwestern spelled rubbish. Bollocks it.
Well, anyway, that was that, bro.
Do we have any more trivia?
No more trivia.
Do we have any musical guests tonight in the studio?
Mark, you once made for me a double CD of Nanci Griffith.
Uh-huh.
You gave it to me. It was a double CD of Nanci Griffith. I'm like, wow, man, like her voice, and she was just something else, man, And she's from Texas, and what else do you know about her? You made me the CD.
I heard that CD. I don't know much about her. I luckily got that CD from a promotional guy with the record companies, and I was floored by it. I really liked her voice, and I did not, and I kind of like kicked myself because I have this musical ADD thing going. I didn't follow her after that CD, and I should have. And I didn't know she died. You guys told me the time before.
Well,
I
she
didn't know
died a few years
died.
ago. Yep.
Yeah,
But-
yeah.
Let's see Nanci Griffith.
This
How
next
about
song would
that?
have never come to be if it hadn't been for a film by Wim Wenders called The Wings of Desire. So to all the angels in that movie and to Peter Falk, this one's for you.
Now, look how good her guitar sounds. Do you recognize the singers on the stool?
No. Richard Thompson?
Omar Hakim.
Is that David Sanborn?
Hiram Bullock.
Huh.
That's definitely David Sanborn on.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to play a nice little thing, yeah. What is that? She's playing a tailor?
Probably. It's the 80s.
I really like her voice, man.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
And that guitar sounds fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's a plug-in guitar that sounds really good. Some don't sound so good,
No, some sound like plastic. That was about maybe the late 80s, early 90s.
The album I gave Perry came out in 1998. Other Voices 2. That's the
yeah.
album that we, yeah.
She did a lot of covers and standards on that, right? And
Yeah, I think one was originals and one was covers.
Yeah,
For that, yeah.
well, let's see. Yeah, that's Omar Hakim, the drummer. I like David Sanborn too.
Yeah.
He's playing that Kenny G sax.
Sounds like a 12-string acoustic.
Yeah,
So that's Hiram Bullock and Omar Hakim.
that's Hiram Bullock, and Omar Hakim has the skull cap on. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah.
She's not a bad rhythm player. She's hitting those chords all
She's a good
I wouldn't be
guitar
able to
player.
do that.
Yeah.
Because you can play the chords, then you got to sing with it. I don't understand people that can sing and play guitar like that.
I like. She says, "Peter Falk, this one's for you." Yeah.
Yeah.
She was a
Man,
big
in
Columbo
the
fan.
80s and 90s, there were some really good music shows on network TV, and they're all gone. Like you, Perry, you showed us the Pat Metheny from an NBC music show. There were a lot of good shows back in the day. Exposed people to different kinds of music, you know?
Yeah.
Did you guys know that Peter Falk was the narrator of the original Scared Straight movie from '78?
No.
Yeah.
What was Scared Straight?
Was that?
Documentary movie
It was a 1970
about
documentary filmed at Rahway
keeping
State
kids
Prison.
out of jail and
Yeah,
Yeah.
my class in Don Bosco High School was one of the first classes to see that.
Mm.
It was rough.
cool.
I'll be good.
Well, let's see if Nancy has a break. Oh, that
It sounds so
sounds
good.
good. Playing that straight saxophone, right?
Yeah,
Is that an alto
sax,
sax?
I think, or soprano.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Wow, that sounded good, man.
Yeah.
That was like a perfect little, insertion for that song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know?
So I wonder if Omar Hakim was her drummer at that point. I mean, like,
No,
it's kind of cool. He's just
this
sitting there
TV
singing.
show that it was taken from, he's the drummer in the band.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Hiram Bullock is
And
the
Hiram
guitar
Bullock was the
player in the
guitar player.
band. Yeah.
What,
Yep.
what show that was?
It was the David Sanborn show. He had a show. Remember, he had a show back. I don't know what channel it was on or cable channel, whatever.
I think it was NBC. I think NBC had all these music shows. if I
Yeah, it had to
remember
be on
right.
like 1:00 in the morning,
Yeah,
probably,
yeah.
if something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, that was
but
pretty.
it
I
was
remember
David Sanborn, and yeah.
remember staying up late to see like David Letterman during the weekday just to see who the musical
yeah.
guest was.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I was in high school, so I could actually get up for school and be okay. I couldn't do that now. He was on at 12:30. You know.
Yeah, it was late. It was late. I with David Letterman. Yeah.
Well, let's see if we can talk our way through this last one.
I don't want to talk. The song's too good.
See, look at home. He can't help himself. He's a drummer, man. He's got to tap. You know what I mean?
Can't help it. Yeah,
Can't help it.
he's keeping her in time.
I
She's
think
watching his
that's a
hand.
I think it says Taylor on it.
Yeah,
Look
I
at
agree.
the guitars.
I don't know.
Nick,
I think it's a Taylor. And it's going through an effect, and I don't know what the effect is, but it's a damn good sounding effect on that guitar.
All I know is I would like my acoustic guitar to sound like that, you know.
yeah.
And she's got a thumb pick, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. The late great Nanci Griffith. Wow. Yeah.
Great. Very nice.
Did you ever?
Any more odd things in
Well,
your pocket?
I'm odd.
yeah.
Yeah.
This.
You are.
Thurman lady.
She lives in
Ooh, I
Asheville.
like this.
She's the
Her
mother of
hands look
Slim
like
Lady.
Jimmy Page's hands. Oh, she's good.
Sounds like a violin or a cello.
She was good, man.
Yeah.
I heard it's very hard to play those things
Yeah.
to get a melody.
She mastered it. Yeah. Like
Yeah. All Jimmy Page did was go, "Meow." He would just go in and out. This is actually creating a melody. Wow.
because I've heard other people play that and like they can't get a. For instance, it's not a real theremin on that Beach Boys song.
Oh,
Right, because that had a keyboard to it, and he just went kind of like the
he was triggering
K
it, kinda?
oscillator pads that we have. Well,
Yeah.
the Beach Boy one had a little keyboard, and all Mike Love did went woo.
That was Mike
You
Love,
know,
wow.
it wasn't really playing a theremin. Yeah,
Yeah, I saw an ad in the classifieds on Craigslist that said, "I use theremin, never been touched."
Well, I think her name was Clara Rockman, and
Cool. I like her
and
hat.
I think who's the guy that created it? Like Vladimir Theremin or something, a Russian guy.
We talked about him one time. Yeah.
Is that what his name? Well, anyway,
I don't know if Vladimir was Thurman or not.
he actually proposed to her one time, and the guy who created the theremin proposed to her, and she turned him down. But she
was her name?
mastered the theremin. You
What's
know?
her name?
We make
Might
beautiful
have been
music
like
together.
Clara Rockman.
Okay, that's amazing.
But,
I really am, and I like the scale she was using. That's that mysterious scale. I love that sound.
It sounded like a cello.
Mm,
There was something what's
yeah.
below a cello.
Yeah, and
A
she had somebody
contrabs or
playing a light piano behind her, right?
Fuck you, Mark.
I just made a drummer joke. I'm happy.
Wow, what did he say?
I said, "What? So what's below a cello player?" He goes, "A drummer."
Ooh, oh boy, Mark.
No rim shot queued up. No.
You want a rim shot? I'll give you a rim
There you
shot.
go.
Give him one back, Lou.
I can't think of anything.
You want to get guitar noodling?
Go play your noodle caster, Mark.
Damn well. Damn well. What the hell is that?
Yeah, but that thing, like I can imagine she was actually holding an actual note on it.
Yeah.
You see,
yeah.
I heard that there's two pieces.
Yeah,
and
there's
you have
the
to
left-
do a balance. Yeah,
yep.
you have to balance. So my generation, us hard rock fans, we grew up on our theremin knowledge was just Jimmy Page, and all he's doing is going ring. You know, he's going in.
What song?
They had Led Zeppelin had a theremin on the song.
Yeah, on the live version, "A Whole Lot of Love." You'll see he's like in the middle part, boom, ba-dum, boom,
Yeah.
boom, ba-dum, boom, ring, ring.
Yeah.
He also used it on the
I thought
studio
that was him
version of
just
"Whole Lot of
bowing the
Love."
guitar.
That's what I thought.
No, that's Dazed and Confused when he's bowing the guitar.
Okay.
So
yeah,
find a
yeah.
sample of that theremin you're talking about.
Sure, keep talking.
You know,
Was it on Dyer Maker or in
No.
more Stomp?
well, let's go look at a picture of crazy Billie Eilish while we're waiting.
She has no pupils like Little Orphan Annie.
She looks like who was the one that was in The Exorcist?
Reagan, let's say Linda Blair.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Is that the cover of her new album? Look at this dude there. That's an album.
That's theremin.
So they actually had a theremin on stage,
Yeah.
and who was playing
you watch
it?
the movie,
him
Song
or
Remains
John
is-
Paul Jones?
No, it's Page. So he just holds his guitar and he's just doing this towards the
Yeah, it
theremin.
sounded
he shows
crappy.
off. Yeah, it's
Could've been
rock and roll.
anything.
You know, it's more for effect, not
the
for a
70s.
melody.
And
you
when
know?
was that?
That? Was just "A Song Remains the Same," recorded in 1973 at Madison Square Garden.
Wow. Yeah.
And I think I blew our load by playing 5 seconds of Led Zeppelin.
Are you saying we shut our wad with that?
No, I would never say that, Lewis.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. So how dare you?
I'm sorry. Sorry.
Such
I'm
a
the host.
drunk.
I can say whatever I want.
Oh, you're right.
I'm the
I
chief of police.
apologize.
Screw you. I do what I want, right?
Anything you say, Chef. Anything you say.
But this is, but this is funny though.
That's the Gibson Jumbo Deluxe.
And at 5'2", which is why he always wore those stiletto heels.
Sure.
And his pants were so long that you couldn't really see that he was wearing stiletto heels because he was
Little
wearing like
Donnie
lady
Roser.
boots, you know?
Which could be the reason for a lot of back problems.
Apparently, and his pain medication that he was seeking all the time.
yeah.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Bummer, man. How about
patches.
Robert Cray?
Sometimes a fan gets excited when you're on stage, so you have to be ready to defend yourself. One thing I do is keep my strap loose so I can discourage people.
No, Keith Richards there.
What
You may
the
have
hell?
noticed that a lot of guitar players keep a lit cigarette on their guitar.
I did that.
Let me show you why. One
hell,
last thing.
man?
When somebody rushes the stage during a guitar solo, you hit a sustain note with this hand. Discourage him with the other.
I am shocked that Robert Cray, the
What
most
the
laid
hell?
back
Where'd you
guy, would
find
do
that,
something
man?
like that.
How did you find that? Come on, you didn't search for that.
I
deliberately.
found it. It's out there. It's out there in the world, on the World Wide Web.
It's your AI searches.
No, I don't search it. And also, like, Wikipedia's for lazy people. When you search something, whether you Google it or use whatever search engine you use, and the first thing that pops up is Wikipedia. Nobody wants to go beyond it. It's like,
So
there it is. I'll just use that. You
And
know?
what so many people don't know about Wikipedia is there's no one that writes it. It's the readers that submit.
Yeah.
So, like, Lou, you brought up all the stuff that wasn't about Q that was on Wiki.
Yeah.
Right? Put it on. You could actually go on that page and add it, and they'll put it.
Well, yeah,
And that's the problem with Wikipedia,
yeah.
because if you get something wrong or you want to lie, some people lie, it goes on Wikipedia.
Yeah, but why
So,
would you? Why would Lou want to write something like that and get uncredited for it?
Right,
You know,
but
for what? You know.
It's funny.
It's
'cause
not always about the credit.
I was thinking of that Billy Preston song, "Out of Space." Like in my album search and stuff, it didn't come up, but I saw it on another search on for singles. So it's it's not really reliable. It's not. It's not the Encyclopedia Britannica. You know,
they got with Rush. They got totally wrong the John Rutsey, what happened and why John Rutsey, the original drummer, left the band. They got it because somebody submitted. Well, John Rutsey, whatever, he got fired. No, he wasn't fired. He left, but
it was. I seen the documentaries. It was a decision. I think. I think they intervened on him for his own good.
He was scared. He didn't want to do it.
But wasn't he diabetic and then drinking a lot?
He was diabetic
right?
and he was partying too much.
Yeah.
So for his own good, they got rid of him.
And they want to go proggy.
Yeah. When my son was in high school, I went to a back to school night, and the teacher told all of us, says, "Listen, just so you kids know, we know if they use Wikipedia, obviously, because what they do is say they want the kids to write a report on Washington crossing Delaware. They'll just bring up the Wikipedia page and see who copied it word for word. And a lot of kids are doing that.
Right.
Same thing with Cliff Notes. They all know when you.
Well, now you can get AI to write the book report for you, though.
Oh,
so in other words,
the Chat BT. What's that called?
GPT or something.
The bots. Yeah.
Well, that's the stuff some people use on their podcast. But,
we won't.
Have you ever been to Washington's crossing on the Delaware?
No.
It's not the Atlantic Ocean like the pictures have Washington crossing with the crashing waves. You can get across that river.
Yeah. It was winter though.
It was winter, but still, but it wasn't like
Yeah, but it was 6 feet deep.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a Titanic crossing.
I heard Janine Garofalo did a very similar thing going to Greenwich Beach, and in Michael Moore show when they wanted the famous Greenwich Beach and nobody could go to. Janine Garofalo dressed up like George Washington, took a boat and went to the beach in Greenwich, Connecticut.
Huh. Oh, whose private beach is there? That's a private beach, or?
It used to be. So Greenwich Beach was one of the most exclusive beaches, only available to residents of Greenwich.
Okay.
I had a sales associate when I worked in music that lived in Greenwich, and he said, "I'll get you on the beach." What he had to do to get me on the beach was amazing. He said, I'm going to drive up. You're my nephew from Ohio. You were visiting, and we left a phone of yours on the beach. It took 20 minutes for that guard to let me in. And I went, and I expected this big, luxurious beach. It wasn't. It was just stony, rocky beach. But the idea of it was that it was their beach. Nobody could get in there. It's open to everybody now, though. I wouldn't want to. It's too close to the city.
They said, I'm an American. This is a beach. It's in America.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
There was a guy that made a movie about walking the whole down the whole West Coast because it's supposed to be open. But he got to somewhere near L.A. and they tried to tell him he couldn't come through. He's like, I got the right. But they were trying to scare him, But he could. He walked through. So,
well, you want to do a little shout out to some of our subscribers?
Well, absolutely.
It looks like we've come to the end of another Music Relish episode, number 92.
Well, near
the end.
But for instance,
we got a few tricks up your sleeve.
Oh, wrong one.
Yep,
Here it is.
Yep. Just backtrack.
There it is. John's Rockin' Vinyl.
Nice.
One of our subscribers. He just holds up albums and talks about the album that he just purchased and whatever. It's a pretty cool pretty cool site. And let's see who else is here. Eric777.
You've got the info on who these subscribers are.
God, music, peace, and love. Yeah. Now, this is interesting. Indigo Mariana. If you want to know anything about Jean Clark, visit her page. I mean, she is look at the picture behind her. Jean Clark behind. She is a Gene Clark fanatic, and I've been to her channel, and oh man, it's like some great Gene Clark clips and everything else. Yeah, if you want to know something about Gene Clark, go there. Yep. And Mary Wesley also.
Mary Wesley.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
These people have they
Upstairs
have faces.
Basement. This guy from Upstairs Basement, he sets up recording studios. Of course, he's just like us. He writes songs, he records them himself, and play. Upstairs Basement. Yep.
This is the first time I've seen.
And
who
this
these
was
people
one
are.
of our recent ones. That's why I said it was Mr. Bill.
Mr. Bill.
Or is it Mr. Bile? I don't know.
I like Mr. Bile.
Okay, Mr.
I'm
Okay.
going with Mr. Bill.
He doesn't leave any bileless comments on our stuff.
No, but and Sandy Kennedy, I know her. Yep, but she's got looks like she has a channel too. Yep, and
Well, we'd like to say thank you to the subscribers,
yeah, yep,
the ones that we know and the ones that we don't know. And we have 63 subscribers at this point, which is nice. You know, so we appreciate it.
yeah, and we appreciate every one of them. Yeah, the ones
Absolutely.
that some all-time best move. Here's another one of our subscribers. This guy, all-time best music classic oldies, and it's like I don't know, like a DJ or something, or an interviewer or something like that. It's pretty cool. I visit their pages. Yeah. Yep.
All right.
So, where do you want to go, Lou?
Well, I guess what we can do now is show our list of availability.
Oh, yeah, I
Podcasts
forgot. That's
we can be
why.
seen.
Okay, there you go, bro.
So the Music Row Show can be seen on the following: Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Amazon Alexa, available on Overcast. Listen on Podbay, Spotify, Podchaser, Pocket Cast, Pocket Addict, Odyssey, Podverse, Listen Notes, TuneIn, Facebook, and YouTube. And you can hear us in your heads. Let us go inside your heads.
But
let us live in your heads.
But
That's
Facebook
creepy.
is now supposedly Meta. What happened to that? I thought it was like, they changed their name from Twitter is now X, Facebook is now Meta.
And you have to keep giving them not permission to use your information and photos, which is all those scammy things.
But people like the original names, man. People still call it Twitter, right?
X, Twitter, Blue Sky,
Yeah. Yep.
all kinds of stuff to air your shit in public.
I am a proud member of Blue Sky now.
I don't do. I never did Twitter
Yeah.
or X or.
And we don't do politics anyway, so.
It's not
No,
politics.
no,
There's
we
a lot of
don't.
artists.
We don't.
A lot of
Yeah.
artists are on Blue Sky, and they show. I love the Blue Sky. They post behind the scenes, like Nad Sylvain, who tours with Steve Hackett. He does Peter Gabriel's lines in the old Genesis. He lives in his home country in Sweden, and he posts pictures of Norway, of his backyard, the eternal night. That's what I like about, and that's what I like about, like, you don't want to go on there and put a 500-word discussion on anything, but the people put pictures, and it's so nice to see, you know.
The Eternal
But
Night.
Blue
That's
Sky
what you
has
read
a
about.
lot of
Death Metal.
artists on there. Yeah.
Cool.
So when your theremin is not feeling well, do you give it
This
Theraflu?
is jazz. Right, Mark? This is jazz.
No, it's very
Classical.
Sephardic sounding. It's very Sephardic.
See, what's happening with the left hand? The left hand is what? Like you know what I mean? There's that wire going up, then there's that other sort
That's
of
why it's
thing
it's
It
where
sort
seems
of
like
left
very-
it's controlling. It's controlling the nuance with the right hand.
Yeah.
The left
It's
hand
a
might be
very-
for sustain, maybe.
It's a very hard instrument I've heard to play. It's not easy. So the hand by the antenna looking thing does the melody, the note, and the other
Her
one
right
might do
hand?
the yeah, and then her left seems to be doing like vibrato maybe. Because see, it's a vibrato in there at times.
Well, doesn't it go across the spectrum? So maybe that the left hand is kind of keeping the rays from blowing off the piano player's head.
That's why she has she's wearing a hat, I think, right?
It's of course it's lined with
Invisible
aluminum foil.
rays. Those invisible rays are out there.
I want
Right?
to see her head come off.
Oh, that's cool. Maybe we could add that in post production. Have
a
her head
zap.
explode.
Don't
You
move that
guys,
head.
you guys.
Sad
Put him in a
song.
Beethoven wig. Now, see, now that thing on the end, that's that Peter Frampton thing you stick in your mouth. So you can do theremin vocoder.
That's interesting.
Wah, 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 wah.
Are we done with this clown car for the?
Frampton is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now. Did he
Good.
perform? Because I don't have Disney or whatever it was on. So
Didn't he play?
Frampton
Didn't he play with other
perform?
people? Didn't he play sitting down with some other people?
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, wait.
I think he did.
Well, it doesn't matter whether they're standing or sitting. I mean,
No,
you know,
well,
but
that's the reason why
was
it's
his
not touring.
band there, like the original band, or no? Just
No, I think John
No?
Ciomos is dead. Bob Mayo on the keyboards. Bob Mayo died. And yeah,
I saw a
bass-
clip of Ozzy
bass player.
Osbourne in a throne.
Wait 1 second. Bob Mayo, he's the one that they were waiting for a train in Europe to go to their next gig, and he died on the train platform, I believe. It's like rather sudden, like boom. Like
Yeah,
let's say.
you've mentioned that in the past. Yeah, I remember. Yep. And Ozzy Osbourne, I saw a clip of Ozzy sitting on a throne, and whoever came out to perform, might have been Dave Grohl or somebody, was like, performing around Ozzy, I guess.
I'm torn with this whole way he's portrayed now. It's good to see that someone from Black Sabbath and he was in the heavy metal years. He definitely was great, and it's good to see him get lauded.
Yeah.
And also, there's a part of me that goes, it's like Sharon's just rolling him out, and it's very hard for me to watch.
Yeah.
He's not in a good way.
Yeah,
right
but then
now.
you didn't want him to walk out on stage. That would have been shocking to people,
Yeah.
with the cane and, whatever else he may use to
he's almost
move
80,
around
right?
now.
How old's Ozzy?
Good question.
I guess he's in his 70s, but the point is he can't maneuver.
Yeah.
It's like Phil Collins.
Does
you
he
know
have
what I mean?
Parkinson's,
So-
or does he have
No, he had
neurological?
back or I'm
yeah,
not
so
sure.
when he was living in the U.S., he was
Nerve
on one of
damage.
those 3-wheel things that you go around your backyard in, and he
Segway.
flipped it over.
Oh.
Yeah, one of those
No,
things
no,
you go
yeah.
off-roading with. And he had back surgery, and that seemed to have started a lot of his problems. He really screwed himself up, and he's also on a lot of a ton of medications,
Yeah.
So,
But so we know that Foreigner didn't ask Lou Gramm. I mean, that was an abomination. But Frampton
they
was
did.
there,
They-
and Frampton played, right?
no, they asked Lou Gramm to come, and he was there. Oh, for playing on stage.
Yeah, yeah,
he was
we
very
mentioned
put off
that,
by
yeah.
it. But Dennis Elliott was asked, and he said nope, because he knew that was going to
Yeah.
be the deal.
But
So
Peter
Frampton was
Frampton did
inducted this year?
perform.
Frampton was at the last Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction?
Peter Frampton went in this time, didn't he?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think he was in this crowd
I'm
with
sure.
Foreigner, Frampton,
Right.
Ozzy.
I don't hear anyone else talking about it.
Because no one cares about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame anymore.
Well, or maybe they don't care about Peter Frampton.
Yeah, or not everybody has the streaming service. I mean, to put it out on the streaming service, just put it on friggin' television, dude.
Because it's all about the money. They don't care about the music, right?
Like that lame Mike Tyson fight the other night.
Ugh. I just wanted to see the two women that were fighting because that was a big one.
That was brutal.
Netflix crashed.
Yeah,
and then they
I saw it. That was the best fight of the night, actually.
Of course, Netflix. It was the biggest thing they ever had.
Yeah. All he had to do was back out and go back in, and to me it worked.
Lou, I was
tried.
on the phone
I
with
tried.
you, and we're like, "Yeah, girl." I said, "Mike Tyson's not going to be on till 10 o'clock, or
It
like
was
11 o'clock."
11:30. I went to bed at 1 o'clock. Going, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looked fixed too. It looked like that was premeditated.
Well, there were only 2 rounds, so it wasn't really.
No, it was 8 rounds, 2 minutes
Yeah,
each.
but it was 2-minute rounds.
2-minute rounds. Yeah.
2-minute rounds. Usually the 3-minute rounds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wait, 3. No, 3.
There you go. I got 2 words for you. Shut the fuck up.
No, remember the Quentin Tarantino movie?
Oh,
they
yeah,
knew
that's
he
right.
wasn't German because
That's right.
he went like this. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Peter Frampton was inducted. Yeah.
He was okay.
And did he play? He performed, right? I'm sure he played. Wow, 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 wow.
Right.
The
Did you do it on theremin?
The big talk box.
I know the vocoder.
Yeah.
I heard Sirius played the studio version of that song one day, and I forgot how tame it is. It's hard to listen to. It sounds like a demo. It's like
it does.
Well,
it's very
now they play the re-recorded version he does, so he gets paid.
Yeah.
Oh,
But if the R&R HOF, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, gets their head out of their ass, and next year finally lets the late great Warren Zevon in, who's going to perform? Who's going to perform the Warren Zevon songs?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Bruce.
It'll be a lot.
Bruce,
Bruce, maybe Jackson. No, not
son.
Jackson Brown.
Yeah.
Deacon Fry.
Deacon Blues.
My favorite Steely Dan song.
But like I've said personally, it's like I used to be all up on that. Like, when is so and so going to get in? I don't really care. I like my bands.
It doesn't matter. They got sticks up their ass, man. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It doesn't matter.
If you get nominated, you have to go if you can afford to. You don't mind paying your own way.
Right.
An extra for your significant other.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who they won't let you walk down the red carpet with. That's why Dennis Elliott didn't go. So your wife can't walk with you down the red. Why not? Why can't you bring your wife?
Why not? Yeah. Well, what's the big friggin' deal? Is it costing them anything?
No.
And why is it $10,000 for a ticket? Why not just let the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame fit the whole bill for it?
Yeah.
You know?
My son-in-law was at the one where Jimmy Page came out by surprise to play Link Ray.
Yeah.
Yep. That was in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center, and he got one of the upper tier tickets. The people like us, the rubes, sit in the upper tier. I don't know how much those tickets are. It's a long show too. It goes forever.
Yeah. Well, all the lords were down below. I
don't think as far as the Rock and Roll, the committee that nominates John Landau, Bruce Springsteen's manager, is the head guy now.
Really?
Yeah, head of the nominating committee.
Okay.
But no, I think it's the producers of the show. Maybe not. The other guy saying, as far as who attends the event, where it's held, like maybe it's up to them.
But you don't have to be a million seller to be in the whole. It's.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Unless you have, well, Warren Zevon was, he had hit singles and.
Yeah, he was actually sucsuccessful.
Yeah, but influential too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the songs were covered by Linda Ronstadt from, whoever, right?
He did an album with the 3 instrumentalists of REM.
Right?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. I thought you were going to say Belle Biv DeVoe or something. Well, you want to sign off, Lou? And
I'm ready to sign off.
Yeah, let's do it, bro.
Well, it's been a fun show.
It was a fun show, as always, right?
A fun episode 92 of the Music Relish Show.
92, yep.
8 to go.
On our way to 100.
And I will see you, right?
All right, guys.
Take it easy.
Ciao. Well, that's another episode of the Music Relish Show. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, like us, subscribe to us. And remember, the Music Relish Show is and always will be a podcast for all. Have a good night.
Oh, we have a nightclub?
And to all a good night. Music, the great unifier. The healing power of pop. musicrelish@gmail.com. Email us. Like us, subscribe us. To us. For us. Subscribe at us.
The three-headed monster.
There it is. The power trio of podcasting. The preposterous power trio of podcasting.
Called the Music Relish Show. It's called the Music Relish Show. I don't know who are those dudes.
Oh, that's the band that did.
I like bread and butter.
Look, the great
I
UK,
like toast and jam.
Great UK Skiffle Boom.
Is that Charles Manson on a stand-up bass?
Yes. Oh boy.
It didn't come up tonight. Perry, this
Randy
is the first
Jackson.
time you brought up someone from Blue Oyster Cult tonight. I'm proud.
Yeah, I did.
You
Yeah.
did.
But,
Johnny Burnett.
He was an old rock and roller, right? Yep.
He was a rockabilly guy.
Yeah.
Now, is he the father of Rocky Burnett? No, they're wait.
Rocky Burnett is his son.
Okay, Rocky. He's the guy who played with Fleetwood Mac.
That's the insert to the Sgt. Pepper record.
Sgt. Pepper.
We're called the Music Relish Show. Hey,
It's Mark Smith's signature guitar,
the Noodlecaster.
the Fender Noodlecaster.
Whoa.
Yo, Perry, you're in space, man.
Oh,
There
boy.
you go.
There it is. Too little, too late, right?
No, because I saw a Blue Oyster Cult video from a recent show, and Eric Bloom cannot sing.
Pure
anymore.
Plus.
Per
It's pretty
plus,
bad.
yeah.
Pure
Pure
Plus.
Plus. It's a shampoo and a conditioner and a drummer.
Good night.
3 in 1.
Yeah.
Good night from Music Relish.
Relish. We love you.
We dig you.
This is like the end of Freebird. It never ends.